Hi guys, this is Twin Peaks Twin Perspective. I'm Joe.
I'm James. That's Josie.
And tonight we're going to be presenting thoughts we thought you didn't think of.
Thoughts we thought you didn't think of or didn't care to talk about.
Full credit to the community.
Yeah. A lot of polls, a lot of good polls this week.
Yep. And if you guys have a Twitter account or you live on Facebook, then you've probably heard everything we're going to say anyway.
I avoid it. I don't go to Reddit.
Yeah, I don't have a Reddit or a Twitter. You guys are getting a lot of information from thousands and thousands of Twin Peaks fans. But full credit to community. We're going to give you some thoughts that we thought you didn't think of. Full spoilers on everything Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks Return Part 11. There is fire where you are going.
There's fire where you're going.
All right, Brother James, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, Jesse. Let's talk about Jesse first. In the last episode, Jesse shows up moments after the fire, after the bullets, not my fire.
Yeah, the guns.
It did take him a while. It did take him a while if you think about the scene, but
it felt like it was about a minute and a half.
The way Bobby looked at him, I think he wasn't at Big Ed's gas farm. I think he was doing something with Red. Red was just there.
Red was there. Everything went to crap once Red showed up, right? Red shows up, next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. And Jesse's just snooping around. You know, there was a scene earlier when Deputy Chad made fun of the dead soldier. And Jesse was just kind of just staring off into space. He just had no reaction at all to any of it. Maggie was obviously disgusted by Chad. And Jesse's just staring off into space, just a space cadet. And I don't know, there's something about that. I think that he's a corrupt cop too. I think he didn't hear no gunshot from Big Ed's gas farm. It took him, he got there too quick.
Yeah. And then he shows up in the conference room just to show off his brand new car.
His new car. And I'm thinking, new car, what if this is a brand new car and he's about to tell us the year we're in, and he says 2000 and he gets cut off.
That's a meta play on time. Because it's 2013, 14, 15, I don't think where time is, it's a matter of days in this show and not years. So I don't think, like...
Right.
But still, we would have found out.
Yeah, we still would have found out. And then a brand new car to him might just be new to him.
Yeah, could be a lemon.
If he had said he had a 2003, the internet would have blown up.
That's the point of bringing it up. Right. And that he's got a new car, which is just goes hand in hand with the Rolex that Andy has.
Mm-hmm. Making money on the side. Andy earned that Rolex.
Yeah, he did.
Andy's a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Red? You want to say anything about Red?
Yes, it was creepy the way he walked up to the window at first. It was woodsman-like. It was, we haven't seen too many inhabiting spirits except for Bob and Evil Coop. And now we don't know where Bob is, and we don't know who, if anybody, is inhabited. We seen Sonny Jim, maybe with the giant, and Candy. I always thought Laura, as soon as I met Candy, I'm like, vessel for Laura. It's like Exorcist 3. You know, it was easier to possess the older Alzheimer's patients because their mind was easier to control. And I think Candy, you know, Jerry's is fried brain.
Yeah, Candy seems to be a perfect vessel. I don't know if she's an orphan or not. That Mitchum brothers talked about being a gym set they had in their orphanage, and it makes me think that's why they still live together. They're older, but they're still living together. They never had parents, and they take on these girls who don't have a place to go. But there's another thing that would prevent these girls from having a place to go. That's if they were manufactured and they don't have a past to go back to. So
yeah, she's got nowhere to go because she doesn't have parents, or, you know, like a child left at an orphanage would be paperless No identification. Don't seem to know where she comes from.
It kind of fits hand in hand.
With those trucks that come from Mexico too in the back, they got some unidentified people.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first.
They don't have air conditioning. That's what I thought. She's like loving the air conditioning. It's like, were you smuggled in from Mexico? But
right. It seems as though they had it worse than they have it now with the Mitchum brothers, and they flirted with murder, and we hear that they're crime lords of some type, but I've seen nothing but pretty good stuff from them so far, especially how tolerant they were when Candy went off and smacked them with the telephone or the television remote control.
Beating up that guy notwithstanding. But
that's true. They did beat up the guy. That cost them a bunch of money. Okay, but still, death wasn't involved. I've been fired before. I've never died.
But getting back to Red, just felt like an inhabiting spirit of some sort with the magic first time we meet him, and then the way he creeped across the street, everything took place in the street, everything went down after he showed up.
Mm-hmm. Especially my opinion of Shelley. Oh. I mean, Red shows up and just ruins everything. And that's a great point. It just, at first I didn't want to give Red that much credit and say, wow, he's inhabited, he's in touch with the lodge and he's a magician and all this stuff. But after this last scene with him, and he was as charming as could be with Shelley, it's just like the devil or something, Mm-hmm. Nobody likes Red. And that was another thing. Red and Shelley mentioned same place, so they've been hooking up for a while now. He's been in town for 2 weeks, I guess. And
Sparkwood and 21.
Yeah, where are they hooking up? That's a good question. Sparkwood and 21. By the sound of sawing wood.
The Great Northern, where everybody can see them. Or the same seedy motel Ben took Catherine to.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The next thing I have on my thoughts we thought you didn't think of, you probably thought of it, no one cares to mention it, but Dr. Amp is high atop Whitetail Peak.
Something like that, yeah. Which is probably this one, and then this one is where Major Briggs Station was.
But it also could be the peak on Blue Pine Mountain. Pikes Peak is different than the name of the mountain.
See, you guys probably know better than we do about
I didn't really look it up, but I'm thinking he's on one of those mountains. Him and his shovels have got to come into play. We know Jerry's lost in the woods, and it's just feels like we're all going to run into Jerry on our way to the coordinates.
I think they're all going here, and Jerry's on this mountain is going to end up running into Dr. Amp, his hero.
Okay, that would
I think it's going to be a twist like that, but I don't know. You guys probably know better than us about the mountains.
You'll have frostbite.
But Dr. Amp rules. Keep listening. Keep your ears open. If you don't believe what he's saying, just
he's outside of Twin Peaks, and it's already been established by most of the community. And I think that episode kind of just told us the soil of the town is dying.
Yeah.
And he's outside speaking knowledge, and like up in the air,
right?
Up where the air's clean.
Yeah, he can drink out of the stream there, and everybody that's been born in Twin Peaks in the last 25 years is just thrown off, and that's just a fact. All of the new kids in Twin Peaks have major issues.
Gersten being Steven's girlfriend? No, that's not it. See, Gersten could have been 17 years old and had a child who is 21 now. She's 38. Her child's 21. Can get into the roadhouse. One of those girls that was Richard assaulted, Charlotte. None of them had last names. Charlotte. There was some other ones, but it's very possible that one of them's a Hayward, and that Steven maybe was seeing that person.
So he was visiting his aunt or his mom or something.
Or her daughter. But
was Steven wearing the same shirt?
Yes, he was wearing the same shirt when he was snotting and choking her that he was.
The episode before.
Right.
So this very well could have been the same day. So Steven seemed upset to me because they were out of drugs. Becky didn't make enough money for them to have to go and get more drugs. So he went and hooked up with somebody who he could get high with.
Yeah.
And maybe when Becky found that out, it pissed her off. doesn't necessarily mean they're sleeping together, right?
Right. I'm holding reservations that Hayward is nothing more than a drug addict.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That's a good call. But
Daddy bailed. Daddy's not around.
see, all of the young people right now are corrupted right now. They're all affected by this dying batch of corn. They're all bad produce, is that what you said?
Bad produce, and it just seems Laura or Coop will be the one to come back and restore balance.
Mm-hmm.
But the long road back involves help along the way for Dougie. I had to write this down.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've been talking in the last couple of videos about agents of good that have to combat all of the darkness and evil that's over the town. And my brother must have been like, because he ended up writing some stuff down exactly the same. We didn't even talk about it. So cool.
In Las Vegas, we're going to start with people that help Dougie. Everyone helps Dougie. Dougie seems to be getting help from everybody. So it is kind of just a miracle that he's still alive, but special help.
People say that it's the Black Lodge directing him, giving him all the help.
And we see that with Philip Gerard or Mike, whatever you want to call him. But the people that help them in Las Vegas, and I got them written down. I got the ladies first.
Ladies always first.
Jade, first one we meet, Jade. Now, she was bringing him back to the casino. You know, that was just going to happen anyway. But mailing the key, even though it's not important now, except for maybe the ring-a-ding-ding
Unless Ben Horn does something with this damn key, because
right, it's going to come into play. So it was an important move, and it was something that helps.
Yeah, and that didn't feel Lodge influenced either. It just seemed like Jade was a good person, and she managed to do several acts of kindness, not only giving Dougie 2 rides.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking for inhabiting spirits as I go through the ones that have helped as well. So we could say no, not Jade.
Maybe not Jade.
We'll go to Janie E. She's been instrumental in teaching him like maybe a kindergarten or first grade teacher, or like a mom, teaching him how to dress,
Mm-hmm.
How to go to the bathroom,
Right.
but
How to get his work done on time.
she's more of a protector than
Yes.
I don't see that there's, I don't know. She would be good. She would be good in your corner.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our good posse together here.
Yeah. Is she a potential Lodge host?
I don't think so. Manufactured, maybe?
Yeah.
Manufactured, maybe.
Manufactured. But you know, there's a double-edged sword here. If she keeps telling Cooper that he's Dougie over and over again and convinces him that this is his life, it seems like that's counterproductive to us getting Cooper back.
Yeah, it's kind of detrimental.
Right, but at the same time, she's caring for him like a regular person should care for someone, and yeah, in lots of different ways. And of course, everywhere Dougie goes, he positively influences the people that he touches. So, if the Lodge is helping Cooper out through all of this, it's the magic is spreading. You know, I just don't see that as the Black Lodge helping. It feels more like the White Lodge helping. Mike's involved in the evolution of the arm. I think the evolution of the arm is evolving from the arm and what the arm meant before, which was mostly negativity, to more of a peaceful being, something like that. And that's why he's helping along with Mike. Or as they say in the credits, Philip Gerard, which is really strange. I thought Philip Gerard was the host and Mike was the inhabiting spirit. So maybe Philip Gerard passed away in the last 25 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think. Now, last two ladies on my Las Vegas list are my two highest female candidates for having an inhabited spirit in them. First is Mrs. Jackpots.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Mrs. Jackpots, even though it looks on the surface that Dougie and Coop and the Black Lodge helped her, Dougie understood her when she spoke. She said, "Which one?" And he pointed to which machine to go play.
Right.
He understood
He saw the
answered
signal and he pointed, but he hadn't pointed before at all of them. And
He doesn't answer anybody either. He listens, I mean, like a dog to Janie E. She says, now, come here now. I mean, you see him learning, but this was right off the bat. So maybe he was fresh out of the lodge or something, but but Mrs. Jackpot's appearance in this last episode was, well, it's just an ethereal scene to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Everything slows down.
Yes,
she
sir.
comes up. It reminded me of Senior Drool Cup, even though in just in a different person. And finally, Candy, who I think is without a doubt being
inhabited
inhabited.
by a good spirit who's helping, eventually will help Cooper, I believe. I mean,
Yep, the only thing she's done so far is serve him a piece of pie.
Right.
That's a good start.
Pretty good start.
By the way, Major Briggs ate huckleberry pie. So I think maybe if Coop eats a piece of huckleberry pie, it'll show him mental strength instead of cherry pie is good for the soul.
Nope, this is where I differ from everyone else. I don't think we're getting Cooper back as long as that, not only does a doppelganger have to be killed, but I think Coop's got to go back in and come back out somehow.
Yeah.
I think this date of October 1st is really important because we're supposed to go there. The group from the sheriff's department is supposed to go there on October 1st and October 2nd. And we've said in previous videos that the American Girl showed her watch. It was 2:53 Saturday the 1st. So that seems to be the time when Cooper leaves. And we're just catching up to that date again. I don't think until we get to that date that we're ever going to see Cooper,
Yeah, he'll have to
fully
go back in and
realized.
leave at that time.
Either something like that, or once the date hits, then he'll regain his identity again, or something like that. But
I want to see the one-armed man, like in the Vortex, with Cooper's shoes, and throw him, and then Cooper, Dougie Coop jumps up and just catches it with his feet. Then he lands on his feet. That's right.
that is some Ash versus Evil Dead stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with the chain.
And then he snatches the hairpin from behind Mr. C, and it's really the pin he puts on his coat. And like, I'll take that back. Wow, man. We would really cheese that thing up if we did that.
Now let's move over to the men of Las Vegas,
Oh, these are the potential
inhabiting spirits.
Right.
We're hunting them down right now.
and nominating these agents of good that we really need in
Yeah.
the story.
Log Lady said you need to surround yourself by good people, and right now we've got to weed out, or at least guarantee. At least we're making a list of who's on the team.
Yeah, we're identifying the ones that are helping this story get to an ending that we can all be happy with.
I did forget the Lucky Seven, the ladies' room, the woman, the fine actress, I can't think of her name. She helped Dougie, but that's also like that goes hand in hand with a security guard helping him find the cashier who gives him coins and stuff. But it's just hand in hand with. But she's a good.
And Phil, of course.
Well, we're moving over to the men,
Okay.
and Sonny Jim's the first. Sonny Jim's the kindergarten teacher, the number one on the list of inhabited spirits.
Yeah, definitely.
From his introduction,
got the giant vibe because we get the thumbs up from
not the fireman or question mark man vibe, the giant vibe.
I mean, and then we get it from Coop, and it's just that right there was just okay. The giant's in him, and
He's gonna
gonna
help him. Yeah,
and he helped him throughout the whole scene. So I was convinced the giant is in Sonny Jim.
and this is also another moment where Dougie Coop did something not evoked by handing a potato chip. Just thinking about it in that presence.
Yeah, that was amazing. That wasn't talked about enough for Dougie Coop to just offer this chip. That was really nice.
Those are the subtle moments that you're going to have to look back on when you don't get your Cooper and realize that was your Cooper.
Right.
These are the moments, and you're missing them if you just complain every week and say, "I
Right.
want my Cooper back."
Right. The essence of Cooper is in Dougie full on. I mean, completely.
It's now every episode. I think he's going to snap out of it, but I'm not anticipating it, wanting it, or expecting it. I'm fine the way it is. When he comes back, he doesn't. When he comes back, he comes back. But there are every episode. There are moments where, and they're in. I look forward to those moments. So if you keep him as Dougie, I'll look forward to those moments where we see Coop.
You're right. Right now, it's the story of Dougie. This is what the Twin Peaks: Return is. And if you look at the hours of television we've gotten so far, if Dougie becomes Cooper halfway through this next episode, and he remains Cooper the rest of the series, then we'll have had it exactly halfway, half with Cooper, half with Dougie. That would be the halfway point. If somehow he becomes Cooper in this next episode.
Yeah, because he was Cooper for 2.5 episodes.
Yes, he was. So I've been predicting that it's going to be part 12, but nothing's leading up to that to make me think it's going to happen. And if we get Cooper in the last 2 hours, there better be another season, because that's just going to be disappointing. It really will be.
Now, getting back to the men of Vegas, we got Bushnell Mullins. He's instrumental. Don't think he's an inhabiting spirit.
No, I don't.
But he's so, he's great.
Yeah, he's like Cooper's uncle or something. He's taking care of him and taking him under his wing. And I know there's a lot of neglect where Dougie's concerned. I mean, we could flip Janie E on her head right now, talking about how she waited a week before she brought him to the doctor, and she yelled at him all the time.
She didn't go pick him up the first day.
Forgot him at work and stuff like that.
Well, I left the kid at the playpen.
But Bushnell has been a good guy. He hadn't fired Dougie. He was very patient with Dougie, and when he makes that fist, it's like whoever's trying to hurt Dougie's going to get it.
And the Mitchum brothers are next on the list.
Yes, the Mitchum brothers.
They're brand new alliances. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of them are going to show up in Twin Peaks and fight the greater good there.
That would be.
But this is just a list of folks that have helped Dougie along the most.
Now I got to talk about the Mitchum brothers for a second. They're not going to get rid of Dougie very easily. I mean, I think they know a good thing when they see it, and they're adopting all these wayward people. And at the very least, I'm going to predict that the Mitchum brothers offer Dougie a job, and there's going to be a scene with the Mitchum brothers and Mullins, and there's going to be Dougie's future employment is going to be discussed. Okay, because I don't think they want to get rid of this guy anytime soon. He's a good luck charm from heaven. Okay.
And Phil. Can't forget about Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
Man, if it wouldn't be for Phil, we would have never got Dougie in the elevator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
But there's no inhabiting spirit there. Phil's very integral, just like Bushnell.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no sign of an inhabiting.
Yeah. He is definitely an agent of good, but you can't say the Lodge put all this in place. I mean, Dougie was mesmerized by the statue. He saw the gun. All of that seems to be memory, recalling memory, and then following where the gun was pointed to the front of the office, where then Phil pops up and says, hey, this all seems magical. Everything just seems to be falling in place. I just don't think the Lodge is directing all of it. I mean, maybe they are.
Well, they definitely made some sharp turns last week with getting the pie.
Yeah.
and the lights on those two moments were integral in getting Bushnell on Dougie's side, and then the pie integral in getting the Mitchum brothers on his side.
The magical pie.
And mention Bill Shaker because Dougie learned so much from him, but
that's right.
I mean, he actually repeated everything Bill Shaker said.
Pretty much, he repeated a lot of it, and it helped him a lot.
But I think that was just a cameo.
And Bill Shaker's wife's name is Candy. I mean, we can't even have a weird name like Candy without having two different candies. And we've got so many Mikes.
Bills.
The bald-headed policeman. When Harrison was talking to Mackley, that guy's name was Mike. This is just crazy.
And we got Al, the limo driver.
Yeah.
Al's helpful, but he was also driving Dougie to his death, according to him.
He looked very concerned. He kept looking back in the rearview mirror, and he didn't want to do it. He really didn't want to bring him out there.
And the detectives Fusco, which I don't know if we can trust them or not. Don't know what their role is. It would be fun. It would be fun to have a Netflix series about them, but
I think they would have busted Cooper when he was crossing the international law, breaking international law, and smuggling cocaine and all that shit. Yeah, I think the Fuscos would have brought Cooper down when he was doing all that crap.
It's probably time to see them again. I think they'll be showing up this week. If they're going to do anything with the fingerprints, they're going to have to see that kind of go down. They might not be able to find him. His wife might not be able to find him. Dougie never went home yet.
I think Showtime should do a 2-hour movie about the Fuscos. I think they should just invest in it. And if not, just let Netflix do it, okay? That would be a great show. I'd watch that movie. The Detectives Fuscos on the case.
Well, that was my Las Vegas list of people that are helping Dougie, and where I think, because we need some spiritual help.
Mm-hmm.
We have, in Twin Peaks, we have Carl, who has been on, in 2 episodes, he said God 4 times. He's seen a spirit go up. He's part of the Zone Boys. If you look at the license plate, shout out to whoever caught that.
Yep, and an original
Bookhouse boy, according to Mark Frost. And they drive the VW, which when you flip it upside down is Twin Peaks.
I thought it was 3 TPs, but it does look a lot like Twin Peaks, and there's something in the middle there.
But Carl's been places, Log Lady. Carl's a little more active. He can get around. I'm sure if the Log Lady could get around, she would.
Of course, the Log Lady's an agent of good. The Carl Rod, they're the originals,
The originals.
Mm-hmm.
Did we move on to Twin Peaks?
Well,
yeah.
Everybody that's
trying to
watched
talk about
Twin Peaks knows who's helpful in Twin Peaks. I think Sarah Palmer has a huge part to be played in this, because she is she's had the dreams. She's a seer, and she would like to help. I'm sure in some way Sarah Palmer's going to help.
The people that can see the Woodsman, people that can't. You wanted to talk about Diane again. I want to talk about the ones that definitely haven't seen it, or the ones like Cynthia Knox in the hallway. When she looked back and there was a Woodsman, she felt it, but I don't think she saw it.
Well, she could have seen it.
But she could have seen it like Diane. Right. Like if someone brought it up later, she'd be, I think I saw someone in the hall.
Exactly.
That's what Diane did.
Knox acknowledges there's something weird in the hall. She goes back in the room. Whether she saw the Woodsman or not, we don't know, but she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't say anything about it. If she saw the Woodsman or not, we don't know.
She had, like you said, the frisons.
It's not like Cynthia Knox is keeping the Woodsman from us. It's just something that happens when people encounter the Woodsman. Bill Hastings is sitting in the car. He sees the first Woodsman. It's obvious he sees him. I mean, if he's scared for his life, why don't you say something? I think I see one right there. I see one. He should have been running halfway to town by the time one of them snuck up to the car. So don't tell me Diane's guilty because she saw a Woodsman and didn't say anything. Nobody's saying anything. Gordon and Albert acknowledge it. And then later on, it takes Gordon to have to recall it again. He's like, we saw someone, Albert and I. It's just strange. I just don't think that's proof that Diane did anything wrong. I mean, these encounters with the Woodsman, even Cynthia Knox didn't say anything. It's just nobody talks about the Woodsman.
We're probably not going to see much of the military now that they've handed the case off to the FBI. But if Diane's working for the military and she's sworn to secrecy, she can't say shit, even if you're FBI. If you're Gordon, if you're Albert, if you're her best friend, one of her tricks. I mean, she's working undercover, and there's a reason for the secrecy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just as plausible as her being the bad guy. And I am looking at her fingernails, though. I want to find the color scheme, because you see the color scheme in chairs and buildings, and they had that reverse building, which was blue and then I think red next to it. And she saw it blue and red, and it makes me want to look at her fingernails and see, because if this one would be blue and this one would be red, it would be on the right or the left hand if it was. You know, that's my own investigation. I'm not going to bore you with that, but
well, those things you're trying to figure out how Diane's seeing things, if that was actually a reversed image. That's just wild to me. That's something that I'm going to figure out after the whole thing's over with. I can't, like the intention of the lodge and everything else. Some of that metaphysical stuff is what we're supposed to think about for the next 25 years. I don't think, like you said, Part 8 was as good an explanation as we're ever going to get, and we can feast on that for the next 25 years.
Yeah. I am interested in the color scheme, though. It's just something fun to play with.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. It is fun.
You see the chairs when he goes in to get pie, and I've been writing down the color scheme and trying to color coordinate with Diane.
So we see up to 3 nails at a time, you know, when you're looking for the color scheme. But if anybody knows exactly what the different
it probably changes
are,
every day.
Yeah, if she changes it or not. I know she changed pants. Kind of weird. They were supposed to just be in and out of South Dakota, and she had to change her clothes, but maybe she's fashion conscious like that. Anyway,
Awesome.
There's also the thought that Diane mouthed the word "now" when the woodsman was approaching that car. Now, I don't know. Come on, guys.
Now.
Really.
I thought I saw it a little bit.
She didn't say anything about the woodsman before, and then she's going to bring it up later. I mean, if she wanted the woodsman to attack, why would she even acknowledge she saw the woodsman? I mean,
That's a good point.
It
That's a
doesn't
good
make
point.
sense. She didn't know what she was looking at, and nothing happens when the woodsman gets into the car. Nothing happens. We have several cuts to different characters before Hastings' head blows up. There's no one in the car.
I find it interesting that she said she thought she saw one getting out when one was getting in.
And then
so
the blue trailer's on the other side of the house.
But I mean, he left after he was done. You know, the woodsman went in there and then bailed. So she just happened to catch him when he was bailing.
And we saw her out of him.
Who knows? I don't try to figure it out. Though with the woodsman and log lady, her log being the husband, and you said that she said she got it from one of the living pieces of trees out of all of them that were burned.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think he's a good woodsman, and it was a part that was alive, and they got a bunch of burnt woodsmen running around, so it kind of plays into the myth.
Catherine Coulson might have just been being cryptic too, and insisting, because I think everybody believes that's her husband in the log. Everybody. So she threw a wrench in there.
Yeah. But
I love Candy's reflection. I really love Candy's reflection in the window when they're eating cereal. The Mitchums are eating cereal. I mean, she really looks like Laura out there.
You have to go back and look at it. If you haven't gone back and looked at the Mitchums eating cereal, when Candy comes in, just watch it in the backyard, and you'll see her reflection. But it appears from behind a tree,
and it disappears behind.
Kind of dances back.
Yeah, it really does. It's a beautiful thing. I love that. Nobody talks about that. That was such a good shot.
That's a great shot. That's one worth going back and checking it out.
Yeah.
Somebody with real good res, take a picture or a video of it. As you can see, we don't have good res.
No, we don't have good res. We don't have good audio. We don't have good anything, but except content, because we like to talk about Twin Peaks. Might as well record ourselves and share it with you guys.
We babble.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my page. I think I'm good.
Also, Bill Hastings, there's still a question about what date he wrote. All you have to do is go back to the scene and turn up the volume on your TV. Turn it up loud enough where you can actually hear what he's saying. Because he clearly says 9/29. Okay, so put that to rest, people. Okay.
The only other thing, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, and I don't know, but I don't know if you believe me or not.
Okay.
With the scene in the diner, or when they're eating, when the pie gets brought to them, when the music first slows down, comes to a crawl, it's kind of the same chord progression as the fast song.
It really is the same chord progression as the fast little Italian ditty they were doing before.
And what I want to take is that Italian ditty beat and speed up that slow point and make it that fast, and then time it out and see how long it takes, like 10 seconds. for that 2-minute scene or whatever, it would probably only be 10 seconds. And I think time slowed down. When that old lady came, it gave them time to bring the pie. The girls were supposedly late. They weren't really late. It's just time slowed down for the Mitchums. I think everything slowed down at that moment.
So weird.
Yeah, I like that idea because I think
everyone in the background would have been going in slow motion. If you guys notice the people in the background,
I'm gonna go back and watch after
if
this.
they're all just standing still like mannequins, he may be on to something.
Let's think. I think there's something in Twin Peaks. Definitely, time's jumping forward and back, like Cooper in the lidless woman's room. That things are just chopping back and forth. We're
getting shown different things from different days. We have to be. We're going backwards and forwards, and it's just maniacal. Nobody really talks about that either. I mean, come on, guys. 2 episodes ago, we were told they were in 2 days they were going to be at Jack Rabbit's Palace, and then we have an episode in between that has a day and a night, and then a day and a night, and then now this episode we're still in the same night because they're talking about day after tomorrow. We're going to go out there again. This is unbelievable, man. Absolutely mind-blowing.
There's something happening. It's chopping.
It's choppy.
I'm not gonna try and dissect it too much. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Let's rock.
Mm-hmm. I think Cooper's gonna be Cooper again after this one because of the episode title. But my expectations are not gonna be bashed if the band says "Let's rock."
I went back and watched in season 2 the pilot, Major Briggs's vision that he described to his son.
The hour and a half long season 2 premiere, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to write it down because we embraced a warm, loving embrace, nothing withheld. In this moment, we were one. And it just makes me think Bobby that moment will happen, which unfortunately might mean Bobby might have to pass away or, get to the lodge. If that moment happens, I'm Niagara Falls. I'm Snoqualmie Falls over here if that moment happens.
Yeah.
But you seem to think a lot of people believe Hawk is going to meet his demise.
I don't know if he will or not. I think I've seen that being written a few times. I mean, Hawk's the one going to find Cooper. So seems like he may have to sacrifice himself. It's a noble thing that he would do for sure. But I want all of them to survive. Screw that, man. All the good ones survive. All the bad ones demise,
All the new ones.
I mean, even Steven. I don't like Steven at all. And he hadn't really done much. He's a victim, I guess, in some ways. He may have a good heart.
Just like Richard.
To save him. You see, Richard just needs to be hung up.
He needs to be exercised.
Publicly, upside down crucifixion, something like that, Or get the Mitchum brothers to control the rope and dip him in the oil or something. Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah. Just his head coming in and out of the oil in Glastonbury, right? Yeah. And Chad needs to be arrested and put in jail in a prison where he has to deal with the people that he's put in prison. That's what Chad needs. He needs to spend about a good 30 years.
Getting sweet love.
So we'll see what Lynch does. Can you imagine if Chantal and Hutch go to kill the warden and the warden takes them out instead? What a badass the warden would be.
Man, that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, that's just like Ray shooting Mr. C. You got to be ready for anything when you're watching Lynch.
Ray's, I guess, a good guy.
Yeah, right.
We didn't kind of like him to begin with. Probably wouldn't hang out with him outside of, in our own world, but he's fighting the good.
Philip Jeffries is supposedly a good guy.
Fighting the good fight.
He hired Ray to kill Evil Coop. Seems like Ray is fighting the good fight.
Yeah. Even though, Daria was probably hooking, we got some good people out there that hook.
Yeah, baby. That's what she told her.
Jade, everybody loves Jade.
What's mine is yours.
I think
and Chantal said, I'm so fucking jealous of that bitch.
All right, come on, Dr. Amp and your gold shovels. Come on, Jerry. Come on, Bobby.
We're going to put this video to rest. R.I.P. for another edition of Twin Peaks. Twin Perspective, thoughts we thought you didn't think of. Thanks to the community for all of the input.
Comment thoughts we didn't mention that you think we didn't think of.
Right. And don't try to convince me that Diane's bad, because I'm not convinced yet. When people see the Woodsman, they go cuckoo. And don't forget about the times for the text. That's something no one's ever said before in any blog I've read or whatever, the podcast I've listened to, video I've watched. No one's ever said. Mr. C's text was at 11:09. Diane's text was received at 11:13. Just remember that. And don't forget about the first on the American Girls Watch, the first of the month. That is Cooper's exit time, and we haven't gotten there in reality yet.
You and your Diane.
Okay.
I worked with Laura Dern for 2 days in close proximity, and if I wish I could have done it now, because then I could have asked her to say, "Fuck you, James." Consider it a lost cause. And maybe I could have pissed her off, and she would have said, "Fuck you," and then now I could hold it as a badge of honor. And I'll meet her again. It's written in the stars.
What if she would say, "You got me hotter than Georgia asphalt"?
My knees would buckle like Jim Belushi in the desert.
Okay, yeah. $30 million or. All right, that's it for another sick installment of the Twin Peaks Twin Perspective. Thoughts we thought you didn't think of. I'm Joe.
Beaver.
And
I am Beaver now.
And we will see you in the trees. Bye.